I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome to the 20s After Show. I am your host, the Tyson, and I am joined by this amazing panel. We got Rochelle and Courtez in the building. What's up, y'all?
Hey, friends.
Quarantine boots.
Come on, y'all doing okay in this little quarantine situation?
So far, so good. We in this thing. Need my hair done, but I mean, hey, we gonna wing it out.
You look good from over here.
Thank you. Ooh. Thank you, friend.
So y'all know today we're going to be covering episode 6, which is titled Redemption Song. So Rochelle, starting with you, what were your overall thoughts of this particular episode?
Super cute episode. I thought it was a spice up from last episode. But it was a little intimate. I'm really curious on what's going on with Ida B and friend. I'm just real curious, but it was good. I thought it was a good episode.
Okay, Quintrell.
I thought it was a good episode. I thought it was, like you said, a step up from last week. And I enjoyed it, like from beginning to end. It started out really good. It took off, and then it ended off like on a positive note. I was surprised, but it was good.
All right, so let's jump into the very beginning of the episode. You know, they started out. She's playing. Is that Every Little Step I Take? I think she's rocking the Bobby Brown as she's coming in. Like her, and I'm talking about Hattie, by the way. Her energy's like super high. I'm sorry, she's goals for me. Like, I just want to be on that level and have that vibe all the time. So when she gets to work, she's super excited, only to kind of be pushed aside for the other chick. Ida was kind of, in my opinion, Ida was giving her a little bit of the cold shoulder a little bit. What did y'all think about the very beginning of their interaction?
You can start if you want to.
No, you go ahead.
For me, yes, I was so excited the moment that I seen her with her Whitney Houston shirt and she's grooving and moving. Yes, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is really us. Like it reminds me of where I am. And we're gonna wrap back around that at the end of, probably going ahead and comparing Ida B and Hattie's life and who has it quote unquote better. But it just reminds me of just that fresh start of when you're first like super excited to start your dreams. You're in like at least the place that you want to be, whatever facility that may be. And you're just excited just to be there. It doesn't matter what you do, even though she may not be the writer today, even though she was still an assistant, she was still excited as if she's about to premiere her movie tonight. And I loved it. It was energy.
I think that the beginning of the episode sets the tone for the entire episode, basically of a person who is finally has reached, this point of happiness within their career and where they are living their dreams. And that is, I feel like that's the message that's from beginning to end. So the beginning does a good job of, taking us through that and having us feel like this excitement and just as excited as she is, because obviously she's just, nothing can break her, and throughout the whole episode, she stays pretty positive, and everything is focused on this dream that she's living. So I enjoyed that too. And Bobby Brown is always good too. So
right. Now, what did y'all think about the fact that you saw that she was headed with Nia to Palm Springs? That's where this Anita Baker concert was going to be, that she was taking her mom to. And then Ida called at the last minute, told her she needed her to come in. I mean, they made the biggest U-turn in the world and hightailed it back to Hollywood for her to go and be with Ida. And it was like no hesitation, no question, no thought. Like, hell yeah, we're going to get this. What would y'all have done in that situation? Have you been in that situation? What did you think of Hattie's move? We'll start with you, Rochelle.
I hated seeing that because it's like, dang, like, that's moms. Like, it's moms and we love them, but unfortunately I probably would have done the same thing. I hate to say it, but I remember definitely being in Hollywood at 18 and being around certain people that they could change your lives, and whatever they said, if they just needed me to be an intern for the weekend because somebody came out and it's for Bad Boys reunion, I'm gonna be like, I want to see Bob Marley, but no.
Right.
So I mean, it's totally it brings back memories. So I mean, unfortunately, I probably would have did it, but it sucked to see. Poor mom.
Yeah.
I have never been in that situation. I mean, we've seen these kind of scenarios in many other like shows and stuff like that, where you have work or your career, and then you have life. You got to make that decision. Now, in this case, it was family. It was mom who was like, who has her back regardless. But I probably would have had to turn around too. But I would have turned around too. In this case, it's Hollywood. It's a dream. Like you don't get too many chances. I have some things to say. When we circle back about
circle back.
So I just felt like Ida was very like, she didn't care. She was like, even when she told her that she had already made these plans and put in the time, the emails, whatever, she was like, okay, and then she kind of just let her go then. But her having her come back basically circles back to how she felt originally, because originally I felt she was going to say, no, you can't go. But when she meets the mom, she's all buddy with her. And I just feel like, okay, Ida, like which one is it? Like, she's inconsistent in terms of, her being so hard on Hattie, because when mom was there, it was like, it was different. It was a different Ida, I feel. And so I found a little inconsistency with how she was, trying to mold into Hattie when her mom was there versus when she wanted to go see her mom. Like, why not? If you see what I'm saying?
No, I feel you. I feel so in this situation. I haven't been in that exact situation, but I've definitely been in a situation where you had to choose between work and family. Luckily, I have a very understanding family. I choose work every single time, like without hesitation, because with this LA thing, you only get so many chances. It's not like, I'm going to work at the customer service place up the street, and if that one doesn't hire me, okay, there's another one. Like, you only got like a couple shots at this thing. But I do agree with you that Ida's original thought was, hell no, you're not going. I don't want you to go. I need you here. And so I do think when she made that call and asked her to come, that was her flexing her muscle a little bit, just to kind of, somewhat test the water, but also kind of prove I'm running this show.
Yeah, because when Hattie had the issue with her mom, the back and forth, she kind of went over there and gave her a hug, like almost like, she didn't say it, but it gave me like, don't be so hard on your mom. But you basically you stopped this whole, event that she had with her mom. So I was
right. I was so confused by the whole thing, because now you're talking about the moment at the end of the episode where mom is walking to the elevator. Well, she's dropped in and then she's walking to the elevator. I was so confused, and we'll go into that a little bit deeper in a minute. Yeah. But I was so confused. I was so confused with that whole scenario. But we'll come back. We'll come back to that in a minute. So now that we've kind of talked about that a little bit, let's go backwards a little bit and talk, well, not really backwards, talk about Marie and Quintrell. So Marie has the daunting task to get her and her coworkers into whatever the name of the megachurch is on this particular show.
One church.
No, because there's so many of them here in LA.
It is. And it's Easter weekend. Let's not forget it's Easter weekend.
And that's the other, y'all are going Easter weekend. Like, y'all already know the days that if you are not a church person, the days that you don't go because it's just going to be ridiculous. Easter, Christmas, and New Year.
That's for the people who don't really go.
Don't go if you're not a regular. Anyway, so
if you're a regular, give it to somebody new.
Right. Yeah, if you're a regular, you might want to stay home that day. You're gonna be there next Sunday anyway.
Get back.
What do y'all? So before we go in. Okay, there's so many layers to this. Do you think church is the place to conduct business? Because the whole reason that they're trying to get to this church is to have this moment. You say his name is Quintrell?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To get to talk and try to sign Quintrell to their agency. Do you think that church is the place to do that?
Tyler, you are amazing for that question. That was such a great question. I would not have thought about that. But no, that's like, I didn't even think of that. Watching that, I don't even know why I didn't even think of something like that. That's absolutely a no-no. Like, when I'm at church, like, I'm a church girl. When I'm at church, I'm a whole different, I'm a spirit. I am here this is just me and God. Okay, beat. Everybody else, boom, boom. So if you got a Rochelle, what? That's so disrespectful. Like, this is me and him. What are you doing? Yeah. So absolutely no. To answer, no.
I got another one for you in a minute. Courtez, what do you think?
I don't think so. I didn't think about that, and I think we didn't think about that because of us being so caught into Marie trying to just do whatever she can
hustle
do.
of it. Yep.
She was just trying to do whatever she needs to do. So we didn't even think about the fact that, okay, this is church. I'm just thinking like, how's she gonna get them in because it's Easter. That's all I'm thinking about. It's Easter. And then obviously this is a megachurch, and this is like apparently like they hype it up to be like a church for like celebrities and stuff like that. So obviously it's like not only a church, but it's like a celebrity
networking spot.
You know.
So this church reminds me, and I'm not gonna call this church out because I actually this is the church that I go to when I decide to go to church. There's a church here in LA that isn't so restrictive as far as admittance, but once you're in there, until the pastor gets up and says his little blurb, before you get to that part, that whole before the I call them commercials. After this one has a book, this one has a play, this one has an album coming out. They have all of this other stuff that goes on, and then magically here comes God, and then magically God is gone, and then we're back to passing notes through the aisle, people hooking up with people for later on. Like this church really does do that. And so I was thinking in this particular episode, okay, maybe I'm just, old school and traditional, but in my mind, none of it should happen. But the old folks say you can find your man or your woman at church.
I was just going to say,
so
people go to
Marie
church,
was flirting.
To find him, they love.
She was, so not only was she trying to land this deal, she was also flirting. So once again, I asked this question: is church supposed to be the place? Because we're thinking everybody's like us that's in the building. Like, is this the place to do that?
It's not the place. I mean, think about what's going on. The word is going on. All these different, church is traditionally no, but now when you throw in a celebrity factor and the way they, market this church in the episode, obviously it's more than just church. It's a playing field for networking, like you said. So in this case, sure, it's Hollywood. Everything is different in Hollywood. No one really dresses traditionally anymore. Things like that, like they wear come as you are. So things are just changing. I think in the way they gave it in the episode, then I guess it was okay for them to go,
Rochelle.
So, okay, I don't believe going to a church like we're going to Rock Nation brunch should be the same. You know what I'm saying? But if something happens, then let God has his way. Because I thought about it, and to be like, let me be careful with my words, because now that I think about it, one time I went to Bible study, and a guy who I was I'm not about to play with you, Tyler. Why are you laughing, Tyler?
Rock Nation brunch.
It's not. But listen, you guys, y'all better not judge me.
I'm listening. I am listening.
So I go to church, and this guy who I was a huge fan of was there. Now, I wasn't no groupie or nothing like that, because that's not how I get down, but I did go ahead and congratulate him on his success. We started chitting. It was after church. It was Bible study, like it was probably like 9:30 now. And we awesomely, our conversation went great. We exchanged information. He ended up being the first person that I ever interviewed on my personal show. So that I would go to church every week. At that time I was going to church multiple times a week. And that's not the intention I ever went with. But if you do connect it to somebody, like if I see you there and I'm like, dang, Tyler, I was just thinking about you, I'm working on this piece, you want to work with it, then I think that's not a problem at all. But going there, which, with the intent, behind your heart, then I think that's wild. But if it happens, go for it.
I think that's exactly, and I'm gonna leave that topic alone, because I think that's exactly the way it should be, natural and organic. So something that did take place at this church, she and Quintrell were just kikiing and whispering in each other's ear and asking questions, and basically they had their first date at church. What
That's cute.
Basically,
what do y'all think about? Is she playing with fire? Like, is she now at a point of no return? Do you think she's even crossed the line, considering the fact that her boyfriend is in his space that he's in? Like, do you see anything wrong with what she did as far as her flirtation?
Says, what's up?
I mean, she's obviously wrong. I mean, she's in a relationship, but
you wouldn't say
we haven't even seen him. We haven't seen him we didn't see him in all this episode. So now the last thing we saw of him was her researching to see if he was gay or not. Mm-hmm. And at this point, we saw her and Quintrell flirting in the meeting. And obviously, she's trying to do two things at once. She's trying to impress her boss, but she's also slightly having the time of her life with this man who is giving her this finesse that she ain't getting at home. So
he's taking her breath away. That's what that is. Every time she get around it, she can't breathe.
And I just can't wait to see the scene that he really takes her breath away. But is she playing with fire? Yeah, I mean, she's in a relationship, and this is not gonna go well. She may get the feeling, she may feel like, oh, this is yes, but she got a whole man at home, and she's just confused there. And she don't even go to church. She don't like church. I'm not saying nobody goes to church, but she has a lot of issues in life right now. And she's about to add one more thing to it. That is definitely fire.
Yeah, I feel you.
Wow, I was gonna say the opposite, but now after that, I am
let's hear it.
I mean, let's just.
I have no logic. I have no logic. Like I believe what Tess says, and I agree with him 100%. Like honestly,
Well, did y'all pay attention to the fact that I don't know his name, but the black coworker of Marie, when she was standing there talking to, is his name Zach, the boss guy?
Yeah.
He was standing there in the bed, it wasn't like he was just eavesdropping. Like he had this, I don't know if you paid attention to the look that he was giving. It was almost like he was giving the scorned lover look. It was something, I don't know, it was something interesting about his look. Did y'all peep that? I was the only one kind of paying attention.
I didn't peep. So you think that he liked her?
I don't know. I don't think that. I don't know what it is, but it wasn't a jealousy look. It was a different kind of look. I don't know if he's about to sabotage something. It was just a very, very, very. When you get a chance after the show, go back and just look at.
I'm gonna go back and watch.
I don't know. His personality throws me off a little bit because sometimes I feel like he was doing a lot. I'm not a big fan of people who kind of, I feel like he was kind of like mocking the not religion, just the blackness. Just a little bit of stuff like, oh, what's up? Like, all of that is like, calm it down. I'm not a fan of that, but he seemed like he has a good heart. So, I was so busy trying to focus on what type of character if he is authentic or if he's like phony and just trying to get the money. Like, oh yeah, I'm cool with her and her mama. Like, okay, So I'm just trying to figure out what type of person he is before I can really see if he likes,
or is up to something.
Marie.
I got you. So when Hattie ended up getting back to the office, basically the whole thing that was going on, they're having to rewrite a script or rewrite a scene because basically it's looking like they plagiarized or took a scene from the iconic show 227. And she and Ida kind of have this moment when she basically asked her, why didn't you tell me? And she's like, I didn't want to be a pest. And she's like, oh, well, you can pester me anytime. Like, what do you think about the fact that she's making these, I call them flirtatious moments in front of everybody? Like, she's not even being subtle with it. It's like right there in front of everybody for the world to see.
I think it's like a master move in a way.
I didn't always showing from that.
You didn't?
Mm-mm. Yeah, because then again, she just seemed like if you have a good idea, just let me know.
I think it was just another conflicting way of her being hard on Hattie versus being like, that soft side, like I mentioned last time, because she said, what did she say? She's basically letting her know, okay, you can speak, I want good ideas, but she doesn't give off that in her personality. She doesn't give off like she's receptive to things. She gives off the Devil Wears Prada woman that's just like, oh, but now, I didn't see flirtation. I didn't get that.
Let me tell you why. This is the reason why I took flirtation from that, because Ida knows that Hattie, when somebody likes you. And so when you can say and do little things that the other person would take a certain way because of how they feel about you. So when she came in and Hattie was like, oh, well, I don't want to be a pest. And she's like, listen, you can be a pest to me anytime, especially when you're right. Now come here, sit right here. Like all of that. And then she like softened her voice and there was like the squint of the eye. And you don't do that to like somebody that is like feeling some type of way. Like all of that to me, well, maybe I'm just sensitive. All of that was
No, I
flirtation to
agree.
me.
I agree 100% because the way how she made her like point to the chair right next to her, it was just like, oh, queen on the throne. But I get how Tez, you can see as well that it couldn't be that she
Tess
was
is like, you
flirting.
got
I
to do
get
a little
that
bit. If
too.
you're going to flirt with me, it got to be a little bit more than that.
Be louder.
Yeah, you know, right. With me, you gotta let me know, like, hey, I'm flirting with you. Otherwise, I'm like,
Well, I feel like, okay, so let's talk about something that Rochelle brought up earlier when they were talking about the difference between Hattie's life and Ida's life. And Hattie was just like, why is her life so much better than mine and mine's so crappy? And what's the girl's name? The white girl on the show?
I don't know her name. That's her assistant. Right?
Yeah, I
Lauren?
can't remember her name.
Lauren?
Maybe. Anyway, the assistant, she basically was reminding Hattie, like, this is all the stuff that Ida got going on. She got somebody about to publish a tell-all book. You know, her husband left her for someone, like a younger person or something like that. Like, all of these things, like, compared to her, really, your life looks great. What do you think of that comparison? Because, you know, people, I've heard Oprah say it, Tyler Perry has said it, so many people that we consider successful always say, stop focusing on the goal and just enjoy the beauty is in the journey. And I feel like this is another one of those kind of moments. What do y'all think about that?
I think it's just the challenge of life, the road, the purpose, you know, sense of having purpose. You know, I could say all day, oh my goodness, I want to be the top host of the world. And then what happens when I take over all 10 networks and there's nothing else to do? It's just like, okay, I did it, I completed it. It's no rush anymore. So I do my best to it gave me comfort when she said that on the episode because I'm just like, you know what, maybe I should enjoy this journey a little bit more, you know, like maybe it's not all hyped up what it is, you know, but and it's just might be just a sense of having purpose, you know, and that's a big thing for me
personally. I think in the show what they're trying to say more so it's more specifically to being alone, because I think what the assistant said was that she was saying that she's alone, like she has nobody else. You know, she has this career, but she has no one else. And you know, of course, to the other side, you have Hattie, who has friends, who has her mom, and she has, you know, she's not to this level at a career that she wants to be or what Ida is, but she's working that way. She's at least close. And I mean, I think it just speaks to, you know, you can have this, like you said, many things in life, but you're not necessarily happy. And although it just shows that although Hattie is like, she's not really working, was unemployed and things like that, she's still having a good time in life. And I think that's what the assistant was trying to say. More so to just being alone. Because I mean, Ida really has nobody but her employees, you know, everyone she works with. She doesn't have anyone else. She has this big house. And they've been saying that for episodes now, you know, it's her house and everything. That's all she has. But I mean, Ida, but that's the character that she is.
But don't you think that that's kind of like the norm for most people that are like ridiculously successful? They may or may not have gotten married. They may or may not have a husband or boyfriend or something like that. But usually for the most part, aren't they usually kind of like they're married to their work? Yeah. Like you look at Oprah Winfrey, yes, she has Stedman, and Stedman has been here for decades now. But we all know she's married to that work. Like this work, it's like work, Stedman, Gale, like and everything else. But it's like work is first.
Yeah, these are the same people that you see. They're not even just like Ida's position. You can see a manager at Burger King, and she may have attitude. He or she may have attitude, but like, you need to get you some, you know, because something ain't right. You know, like you can tell, like you never said that. Somebody be like, you need to get laid.
No, we said all the teachers that.
Because they be very tense. They seem like that's all they have going, or they care about, and that is Ida's character. So yeah, I mean, she just needs something. I guess
that's a good point.
That's true too. Yeah, maybe adding that to her life. You know, if she has a love life, it doesn't matter who it is. Plus her success, she'll be happier, and therefore her life will still be popping. You're right. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, it's hard. Right. It's hard for people to get in those positions, and you see it a lot, and maintain a relationship because you're, like you said, you're dedicated. You're married to your work, so it's very supporting person to sit in that role to support somebody that is strictly within their work. They have to be. You know, it can't be someone that's needy, someone that requires, I'm not saying that's her story, but you have to, obviously, he went and married an Instagram model. So, you know, I don't know what their reference, because Ida, she's very attractive, obviously, but I don't know. Maybe she was, like you said, truly married to her work and just didn't really give the time. I would like to know more about that story. But
her personality, though.
Yeah.
So this is before we get out of this episode, you just once again touched on something that I wanted to go back on and back to. So let's go back to the last scene where Hattie's mom is there at the office. And I was looking, so Hattie's mom ends up going to the Anita Baker concert alone. She has a great time based on the pictures and videos that we saw from everything. But I kept looking and thinking as I was looking at, because I'm telling y'all the parallels between Hattie and myself and my life, it's really like Lena Waithe has just been following me around Los Angeles for the last 6 years. And so I look at the relationship between Hattie and her mom with me, and not my mom, but my grandmother. And I'm thinking, okay, in these situations, yep, I would have made that same decision. Yep. And then that moment that they had at the office where Hattie just like, Mom, you can't come up here. You can't do this. You can't do that. And Mom basically says, even though she was totally wrong about how she went about it, but she ended up saying that, you don't show me any attention, no love, no affection, no anything. And Hattie's like, you gotta let me be me, let me live my life. And she's like, you had yours. And she's like, no, but I sacrificed mine for you. That type of thing, I'm like, well, that can't be my situation, because my grandmother would never in a million years say that. My grandmother would tell me to go do my thing, and she's over here chilling, living. I mean, she's getting her Golden Girls on, like she's doing her own thing out there in the streets. How would y'all handle, and what do you think about that situation in the dependency, I guess, that the mom kind of pushed on Hattie in that moment? Or do you even see it as dependency?
I didn't see it as dependency. I just saw it as, it seemed like Hattie is, if anything, like an only child. And I don't know that situation because I have a big sister, but it is times when it's just like, if I'm not giving my mom enough attention, my sister helps, like, she'll take over. And then when I'm like, oh, it's not fine, see my mom in like a couple of days, let me pull up. I have somebody to balance that out with. I think it's probably very easy for you to be so focused on yourself, especially at that age, and really be like, Mom, I'm out. But that is messed up if that's like your only, that's, her mom seemed like she's single and by herself. That's her baby, and she left to go pursue her dreams. What about me? You're my baby. What's up? Can I get a hi? Can I get an update? It's always her mom calling her. It's never Haiti calling her mom. So I don't think
she
it's
calls
too
her when
much.
She gets good news.
Yeah, but it's just like, dang, can you just something,
Just call and say hi. Yeah.
Yeah, but then again, too, like yourself and your grandma, my mom doesn't do that to me. So
yeah, and I'm an only child too. My dad nor my grandmother, like maybe it's different for boys and girls, but they.
But do you check in regularly?
Oh, I mean, we talk all the time.
See, so they don't need to do that to you though, because you're not behaving like Hattie. You know what I'm saying? You show love.
Yeah, you can know where I am. That's for sure. What about you, Courtez?
So I'm more like, I don't want to say I'm like Hattie, but I don't. There's been times since I went to college where my family's been like, I ain't heard from you in days, or are you in Africa? I didn't know you was going to Africa. I'm not the greatest at that, but I've gotten better. So I try to make sure at least once a week I make sure I talk to my grandmother, my aunt, and my mom. But her mom, what made it hard for me to really, empathize with her was that, I don't feel like the issue with her mom is that she doesn't really take Hattie's position and things seriously.
Yes.
And she made a comment, I think, at some point, where she said, she said, I think, was she on the phone, or she said something with
put her first.
No, it wasn't that. She made a comment about, I think Hattie was talking about something at work, and she was like, oh yeah, that thing, or that boss,
that little thing, that little thing.
You don't take it serious.
Yeah, she didn't. So with me, it made it hard for me because I don't feel like she took it serious, so she couldn't really understand where Hattie was coming from, but also Hattie's approach and her tone was a little off too. Right. It was on both sides. It was kind of off because when she said, what ended with me when she was like, when I need you, I'll call you. Now you do not tell your parents that.
I did not like that at all.
You do not tell your parents that, because that is when you're gonna need them. Okay.
Yeah.
I may be upset with my mom and whatever going on, but I would never say that. I just be like, I'm gonna talk to you later, and I let her decide that. I'm not gonna say that. So to circle back, I think her mom just has an issue really taking it seriously what she's doing. So I think now, maybe after meeting Ida, and maybe it'll help.
Maybe, yeah.
Who knows? Her popping up was kind of like, okay.
I didn't understand that. Like, why are you popping up on your daughter's job? Like, usually when your parent, I remember my first job at a grocery store. My parents were so like, making sure they didn't overstep or they didn't do anything to get me in trouble. Like, are you sure it's okay if I'm like, y'all, like, it's not that serious. So I can't imagine having a job like that. Like, if my grandmother just showed up or my dad showed up at AfterBuzz, I mean, it would be cool, but I don't know. I just can't.
But they would never.
But they would tell me, "Hey, we're on our way," or "Is it cool if we come up or something?" I don't know.
It's because they have respect for you.
Yeah,
they know better. What were you about to say, Courtez?
No, I'm saying her mom respects her. I think she has to understand. Okay, this is a real thing, because I don't think she really thinks it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Based off what she gives.
So let me so next week, y'all, I promise we will have some news and gossip. We have been slacking on this news and gossip. I did go by one of the, I think it was Lena Waithe's page, and they were talking about the character Marie, and talking about how she dresses and how everything that you see, that symbolically she has a lot of buttons on. It's always something with a clasp to symbolize how she's kind of closed off, and she's the complete opposite of Hattie and Nia. It's almost like, how are they even friends? But they said that throughout the episodes, you will see these buttons symbolically start to become a little bit more open to symbolize the fact that she's changing. So no, that's not really news and gossip, but that's kind of just something that I picked up before we jump on. I promise we will have news and gossip for you guys next week. But why don't y'all go ahead and tell me your predictions for next week? And Rochelle, we'll start with you.
Oh, I think my prediction is that Mary, she's going to be messing with, thank you, with Quintrell, because she's about to, I don't think she's going to fall out of love with her main dude. Clearly her mind is wandering. I think it's going to take her a minute to actually say it with her mouth or confess or ask, have the courage to ask. So I think that she's going to play with Iman, and it's going to be a triangle, a love triangle popping over there. That's all I have. That
sucks when you meet that person right when you start something else with somebody else.
Ooh, that's ridiculous. That's a test. Okay.
Oh, Jesus. I failed it last time, but go ahead.
I think that
Quintrell
Trail is going to be the one to unbutton those buttons that we were talking about. So that's gonna happen, and I think she'll feel pretty bad about that. I don't know what she's gonna do with it, with her current boyfriend, but we'll see. And I think we're gonna see Ida flip again. I'm curious to know what transpired in the conversation between her mom, if any. And I'm also curious to know that, because I was surprised to see her mom actually went by herself and had a good time. But is she going to hold on to that with her daughter? And because the conversation between those two is pretty intense for a mother and daughter. So I wonder, is that going to be the end of it, or is there more to it? I want to see what else happens with that. And I kind of want to see Hattie meet her mom.
You want to see Hattie do what?
I kind of want to see Hattie meet her mom so she can call her.
Oh. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, right.
But that's not really a prediction. That's a wishful thinking.
Hello.
Well, really, it's interesting. When we started this show, I was not a fan of Marie, and now Marie's storyline is the only storyline I really care about.
What?
Because Hattie and Ida, they kind of annoy me a little bit. I'm kind of over it. I feel like I've lived it. So it's like, I already know how this is going to go. Marie is a whole, I haven't lived that storyline. So everything about that storyline interests me. Her own self, the relationship with her and Chuck, which is her boyfriend, where this situation is going with Quintrell, the complicated situation at her job with the black white guy and the white guy. Like, there's so much going on in her life that I'm interested in. So I'm with you, Courtez. I think
welcome to Team Marie. I was alone 2 weeks ago.
I think Quintrell is going to be popping buttons, and once you open that Pandora's box and you start flirting while you already have a guy, or a girl, it's a wrap from there.
At church, in the God.
It don't even matter where once you open that box, it's a wrap. And she has opened it, started digging in it, trying to figure out what she likes, and it's a wrap.
I'm excited.
So with that, y'all, we appreciate you guys for checking us out. You can follow us on Instagram and all social media. Rochelle, why don't you tell the people where they can find you?
Yes, you guys can always find me on Instagram at RoachBaby. That's RoachBaydee.
Okay. You can find me on Instagram at StupidWildTez. Always there, always wild.
That's right. He's not lying about that. And you can get your entire life back on all social media at the Tyler Tyson. Thank you guys so much for checking us out and tuning in with us. And we will see y'all right here next week on AfterBuzz TV. Peace.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzz TV.